Okay, we acknowledge that the land we are on, the land on which we gather, is the traditional territory of the Attawaddaron, Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Luan-Piwak peoples who have long-standing relationships to the land, water, and region of southwestern Ontario. The local First Nation communities of this area include Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and Munsee Delaware Nation. Additionally, there is a growing urban Indigenous population who make the City of London home. We value the significant historical and contemporary contributions of local and regional First Nations of Turtle Island, North America.
Thank you, Steve. And over to Sierra.
Hello, everyone. So just a note this evening to get us started from Arbor and Limchuri, who are homeowners of a house on Forbes Street, part of our Manor Park project, which is a revitalization of what was once a dormant property and that is now affordable homes for, I think, 17 or more families. Arbor has written us a little note here that says that I'm working very hard to provide for my family. Having a son with autism makes it impossible for both parents to work full-time. Our son, Lear, is dependent on us, and because of his condition, he misses a lot of school hours. We were previously living in a small apartment. There was not enough space, and it was very hot during summer. Having our own home means the world to us. Having enough space for our children is a dream come true. Our children are very happy to have their own rooms and a yard. This home was also customized with added features to enhance the safety for Lear as he has autism, as well as painted in certain colors to assist him with calmness. So thank you all for helping Arbor, Limchuri, Lear, and they also have a daughter named Liza to achieve their dream of home ownership. Together, they are building towards a strong, stable, and independent future.
Great. Thank you, Sierra. It's a great reminder of why we do what we do. And now for our safety moment, I'll introduce Jen.
Hello. So for the safety minute, I think that we think that something very prevalent, of course, continues to be the pandemic. So wanted to share a reminder for those of us on the call, as well as for colleagues, coworkers, team members, that there are still going to be prevalent feelings, and to say that that's normal, that's natural, and that's something that we can recognize as continuing for ourselves. So the prevalent feelings right now are anxiety, guilt, worry, fear, and our thoughts of blame, specifically where we're thinking about separation from loved ones, running out of essentials potentially, loss of income, inability to fulfill responsibilities, or getting sick, and oftentimes the stigma that goes with it, an uncomfortable position to share that we aren't feeling well and what that means for us. Boredom or isolation, we continue to deal with both stay-at-home orders and then the quarantine periods, and concerns for physical safety for self and others is right up there, of course, on the top of many of our lists of things that we're worried about. So just a reminder to take care of ourselves. So some coping tips that I'm sure many of us have used already, but a nice reminder of a few things that we can do. We can care for ourselves, which oftentimes gets put on the back burner. We can connect with others through video phone calls, text, or social media. We can use accurate, reliable, and trusted sources to stay informed. There's a lot out there, so understanding where to look is very important. We can focus on our own personal health through fitness, healthy eating. We can practice social distancing, continue to do that, and continue any religious or spiritual practices that provide us strength. Caring for others as well, so continuing to be patient and kind. Stress levels, when they're escalated, of course, can mean that some of our interactions are heightened as well. So being aware that we don't know what the other person is going through when we're speaking to them, of course. Delivering groceries and pharmaceuticals for those in need. Communicating with our children creatively, because they're going through, of course, a very difficult time that they might not necessarily understand. And supporting changes to pets' environments, because in many scenarios, of course, our pets have been impacted by us being at home or us being out more often than we usually are as well. So just a reminder of a few things that are natural and some different ways that we may be able to cope with it. And this is from the Red Cross. So the source is at the bottom, the link, and there was a ton online that will provide additional support if you're looking for it.
First or second the motion. It's on my computer.
For me.
Great. Thank you very much, Jen. And with that, we'll turn it over to Al McKinnon, our board chair.
Thanks, Brian, and thanks to Steve, Sarah, and Jen for getting us started. Great work, and good evening to all. I'm delighted to welcome you to our second and hopefully our last virtual AGM. Virtual, as Jen said, connecting with people by screens. I'm sure that everybody on this call feels like they've done that enough in the last couple of years, and certainly welcome the opportunity to stop that. So thanks for attending. We appreciate you taking the time out tonight on this lovely summer eve, and hope you're able to spend time with your families and are well as you get through this pandemic. I look forward to the opportunity to see you in person in the near future, and especially once I get a haircut. I'd like to also extend a special welcome to all of our new friends from Brant, Norfolk. We're excited to have you attend our first AGM as a Habitat Heartland chapter. Our objective is to have this meeting completed by 7 p.m. tonight to allow you to enjoy the rest of the evening. As a reminder to board members, you'll have to wait another 30 minutes or so past the AGM for a brief board meeting. I promise the sun will still be up by the time we're done. I titled my message in the AGM package, Crisis What Crisis, after the 1975 Supertramp album. Not just to date myself and my tastes in music, definitely not to diminish the impact of COVID and those that have been affected by it, but to acknowledge the support that and work that those at Heartland who have rose above the challenges presented by this incredible event during a crisis. There are so many people to thank whose efforts allowed us to continue our mission and to also dramatically improve the lives of more families than ever before. The level of determination, commitment, and passion for what we do has made Heartland a national leader and well respected across the Federation. We're deeply grateful for your contributions and sacrifices during this challenging year. And bear with me for a moment because scrolling does not want to work. There we go. Brian will provide a more detailed update on our progress. I'll only seal a bit of this thunder in my opening remarks. Entering the pandemic, we faced the challenge of how we continue to serve our families while ensuring the viability of Heartland. We recognized it was critical that we focused on maintaining the mission and values of Habitat while developing our COVID strategies. It was clear to us that the staff represented a most important component of our Habitat family, and as such, we are committed to ensuring that they could continue to support their families by us extending their pay for many as long as possible while they're unable to work due to COVID restrictions. And I recognize that that may have an impact on our ability to serve other Habitat families. We were fortunate through the support of Habitat for Humanity National, donors, and our government partners, and we're able to directly serve both our families and our Habitat home families during this time. In fact, over the past year, we've been able to increase the number of families served by over 30% while working in an environment of limited volunteers, staffing, work restrictions, and a building boom. It's truly an outstanding result from the team. During this period, through the support of many, we're grateful to have been able to grow, maintain our staff, and retain a strong balance sheet on which to move forward after the pandemic. Additionally, while we officially signed the Brant Norfolk MOU at the end of 2020, and the amalgamation didn't technically occur until the 2021 year, I can't help but comment on the significance and excitement of the two organizations coming together. We're 6 months in, and while there's still lots of tasks to complete and to bring the operations, systems, and people together, significant progress has been made, and the cultural and team fit between the organizations has exceeded all expectations. I'd like to officially welcome Brant Norfolk to the Heartland family and look forward to the opportunity to officially come together and celebrate this amazing event once I have my haircut. If you don't see a pattern forming here, look for it. Finally, Habitat National completed its strategic plan over this year, and the overwhelming theme surrounds working together to serve more families. We're awaiting the completion of this plan to begin our strategic plan, and I'm delighted the alignment we have with the direction and the initiatives nationally. We're poised to increase the impact we have on our communities, and I can assure you that when we release the Heartland 3-year strategic plan this year, we'll have a very aggressive growth strategy that will have dramatic impact. This growth would not be possible without the foundation that's been laid over the past several years of development and strong management practices from our team. Many thanks go to the board of directors, leadership, staff, partners, supporters, and volunteers that provide us with the financial, physical, and spiritual fuel to propel Heartland to support our families over our 5 counties. We have very exciting times ahead of us. I would like to personally thank you for your support and joining us on our journey. With that, let's get started with the formal portion of the annual general meeting. I will call on the I will call the 2020 Habitat for Humanity Annual General Meeting to order and ask for a motion to approve the agenda. I have Catherine and a seconder, Chris. Are there any opposed to the agenda? I suspect not. The motion has been moved. Please reflect that the minutes reflect that we have quorum. I would like to ask anyone to identify any conflicts of interest that they have now. Seeing none, please let the minutes reflect that. And I'll now call upon Adam Campbell, the Chair of Governance, to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. So in terms of the voting procedures, the right to vote is subject to the Act and letters patent. At any meeting of members, every person shall be entitled to vote who is at the time of the meeting entered in the books of the corporation as a member. Tonight, I'd call for a motion that the minutes of the June 24th, 2020 annual general meeting for Habitat for Humanity Heartland Ontario be approved as submitted. And I believe Vera is making the motion. Yes, thank you. And could I have a seconder for that as well? And Christina Stekovich seconds the motion. Thank you. So unless there are any objections, I don't see anyone. No opposition, so I would suggest that the motion be moved. Al?
Adam, I think you are next as well.
Oh, am I next again?
I'm sorry, it's you are on to Rick Bertulli.
Right.
Hi, I'm Rick Bertulli. I'm just going to present the financial statements for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2020. These statements can be viewed on our website. PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP were our auditors this past year and provided the report on pages 2 to 4 of the financial statements. The report identifies the scope of their audit and that our statements present fairly. In discussion with the auditor, no issues or concerns were identified. Showing the statement of financial position, our overall asset position is improved with an increase in cash. Are you bringing up that the statement there, or?
No, the statement,
okay.
Anybody who would like to download, as you said, is on the website.
Perfect. So on our statement of financial position, our overall asset position is improved with an increase in cash and an increase in land inventory. We also had an increase in liabilities due partially to costs associated with the addition to the Wonderland Restore location. Moving over to the statement of operations, despite the challenges that we had with store closures in 2020 due to COVID, revenue was higher than expenses. We were able to apply for and receive the Canada Employment Wage Subsidy, which offsets some of our expenses. Following the statement of operations, we have the cash flow statement. and the notes to the financial statements. Does anybody have any questions?
If anybody does have a question, if you're muted, feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself.
And Rick, just to make sure you're going to make those motions.
Yeah, I will. Just want to make.
And if you don't have them in front of you, I can make the motions.
Yeah, I've got it. That the 2020 audited financial statements be accepted as presented.
I can make the motion.
Right. And seconded. Right.
Is that you, Peter?
I think I'm seconding the motion that we appoint the auditors.
Yeah.
But I can certainly second this motion too. Adam did a wonderful job phrasing it.
All right. So the motion for audited financial statements is carried. And then Rick, would you like to make the motion for the Price Waterhouse?
Yeah, we have motion that we appoint Price Waterhouse Coopers as the auditor for Habitat for Humanity Heartland Ontario for our 2021 fiscal year.
I motion that.
So Deanne Vickers makes the motion.
Second.
Steve Rorta seconds.
We might want to correct that. It's PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Yeah, all one word.
So we will approve with such amendment.
Thanks, Blair.
Okay. No objections.
Motion's moved.
Carrying on. Thank you, Rick. And over to Adam.
Thank you. So as a result of the amalgamation of Brant Norfolk chapter with Habitat Heartland, we've welcomed 2 new directors, although new doesn't adequately describe their past contribution to Habitat organization. The first is Stephen Rorta. Stephen is a professional engineer. He's focused his career on civil engineering, stormwater management, but generally enjoys the process of pushing projects through a mind-boggling array of legislation dealing with land development. He says the bigger, the uglier the project, the better. He's worked on projects all over southwestern Ontario. Stephen is currently the Vice President Land Development for RJ Burnside and Associates and works for their Woodstock, Guelph, and Mississauga offices. His first dealings with Habitat for Humanity was with Habitat for Humanity Canada, assisting in preparation of a site selection manual in 2012. He has also worked as an engineering consultant for Habitat for Humanity Halton, Mississauga in 2013 to 2015. And he joined the Brant Norfolk board in 2015 and soon became chair in 2016. And then in 2018, Stephen also stepped up as co-chair of the Ontario caucus. So he enjoys spending time with his partner of 32 years, Carla Johnson, at their cottage in Port Stanley, and typically missing his 24-year-old daughter, Darren, who is out in Nova Scotia studying computer science and art at St. Francis Xavier University. So Steve is a welcome addition to the board, and we are fortunate and proud to have him now serving on Habitat for Heartland Ontario.
Thank you.
I think Adam is frozen.
Yeah, he is.
Appears that he is. Do you want me to welcome Catherine?
Certainly.
We'll give,
We'll wait for Adam. When Adam unfreezes, we'll have him keep going.
we'll do a handoff.
Rick was clapping about Adam being frozen.
Well, additionally, from Brant, we're delighted to have Catherine Kissinger join us. Catherine comes with a lot of experience and terrific background that's very helpful for our board, and also brings a voice of Brant to the table. So, without reading verbatim what's on the screen, because I'm sure that most everyone here can do that. Catherine's CHRP, so her HR designation, brings a wealth of HR and people skills to the table, and augments some other great people skills we already have at the table, Jen. That allows us to spread some of that load, and also get different perspectives from different communities and just different views. So, Catherine was the board secretary for Habitat since joining in February 2013. So she comes to us with 8 years already in as a board member for Brant, and has signed on for some more time. So that's a great commitment on her part, and we really appreciate having her here. And we'll see if we can get you for another 8 years, Catherine. Although that's longer than our term will allow, and that's a long time. So let's start with 3. Well, welcome aboard.
There's always ways. There's always ways to give back to the organization, right? So.
I know you might be lost, but you'll never be forgotten. So anyway, welcome aboard. We're delighted to have you here, and appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
Great. So Adam has not reappeared as of yet. So if I could have a member of the board make the motion to accept the new members.
I can make the motion to accept the new members to the board as presented.
Perfect. And
second
by Blair Knox. Anyone opposed? Well, officially welcome to the Habitat for Humanity board.
That's all. No one opposes that.
Yeah.
I apologize. I couldn't continue that. My computer, as many of you know, sit on the governance committee with me, suddenly cut off.
It's okay, Adam. We're still waiting for you.
All right. So I guess, Adam, I will pass it back over to you for the consent for action for the board.
Thank you. Calling for a motion that the actions of the board of directors for Habitat for Humanity Heartland Ontario for the 2020 fiscal year be accepted. If I could call for that motion.
I can make that motion.
Thank
the
you.
motion that the actions of the board of directors for Habitat for Heartland Humanity for the 2020 fiscal year be accepted.
Thank you.
I will second that.
And second is Deanne.
Yep, I second that.
Thank you. So if there's any opposition, please feel free to voice that now. I hear no opposition, so the motion should be passed and moved.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a great half a job, Adam.
I know. I planned that.
So we'd like to welcome and share. This is our current full slate of directors for the 2021-22 year. Thank you all for your service and volunteering and the energy that you bring to our board. All right. So good evening. I wanted to start with this picture because I really do think it helps frame what 2020 was. This team shows our team really coming together virtually to support and be supportive of others. In this case, Remembrance Day. And you'll see that these pictures are taken from all across our region. And it really was setting the stage for how we operated. It was a year that no one planned for, but it was a year that we all found ways to adapt, overcome, and work together, not just as a team within Habitat, but within our communities and within our community partners. We also found ways to continue to serve more families and our existing families in a time of unrest. It would be easy to make tonight all about the impact of COVID, but instead, let's talk about it as the catalyst of change that it really was for Heartland last year. And a special thank you to all of our team members and for all that they did last year. And this picture to me really signified how everybody could come together and make that happen. And now a short video to really show and encompass what 2020 was.
Promising that you will not leave the house.
Video.
So once again, a special thank you for our team. It was pretty impressive to look at all of those different things that were able to be accomplished in the year that 2020 was. You know, some of the key highlights from the slide, and some we'll go into a little bit more depth in later, but you know, we supported all employees through COVID with no layoffs, which was a testament to the work that had been done in the past to put us in a position to do so. But when we're thinking families first, we had to think of our employees first as well, because they are part of our family. We had to enhance our technology with the ability to pivot quickly to work from home. We fully supported a safe workplace with enhanced PPE and procedures that were changing sometimes hourly at the start of the pandemic. We completed our first ever Indigenous build on Muncie, Delaware Nation, completing 4 new homes. And we completed our Manor Park project. We started 2 other projects in Elgin in the same year. We donated and supported first responders, food banks, and other agencies throughout COVID. We found new funding opportunities and launched new programs like our Skills Catalyst training. We relocated our head office and our distribution centers for a new restore up at Wonderland Road that was opened in January of last year, which created our 7th restore in our region. We welcome new staff and volunteers in new creative ways through onboarding and onlining. We stayed resilient during a very significant time of change. We are a winner of one of Habitat Canada's prestigious national awards. And then to end December, as if we had not done enough, we found a way to sign an MOU for a merger with Brant Norfolk. The 2 affiliates committed to finding new ways to serve more families together, which would be the catalyst to launch us into 2021. Thinking about families first. The pandemic certainly shined a brighter light that when you were asked to stay at home, shelter, that not everybody has the ability to do it in a safe, decent way. And so it really proved and continued to show that Habitat plays a very important part in the affordable housing continuum. So we found ways to support our families that were going through financial difficulties during the pandemic. And yet our affiliate had one of the lowest disruption rates in Canada, which was really a testament to our family selection committee's screening of our families, the educational programs that they went through, and the financial training that allowed them to be prepared as much as you could be for the year 2020. We assisted the Unity Project, which is a 41-bed shelter with upgrades and fresh painting and repairs to allow them to better suit the shelter needs of those individuals that come to them on a daily basis. We found new ways for volunteers to produce hours and stay relevant and stay involved with Habitat throughout all the changes.
All right, that's it. Move. All right, let's go. Come on.
Our volunteers, we can never say thank you enough to our volunteers who continue to give over 23,000 hours last year. It would have been very easy for them to say, I have enough. Everybody was dealing with something else. But our volunteers are dedicated and came in and found ways to continue to support our community, our restores, our builds, and our administration. And it's not just the hours that they bring to the table. Their special skills, their energy, their passion for Habitat really creates a great culture and environment. And so once again, to all of our volunteers, thank you. We just can't do it without you. Fiscal responsibility. You heard from Rick Bertulli earlier about our financial statements and that we were able to emerge from 2020 stronger than we were in 2019. And that didn't happen by accident. Throughout our restores, in our build programs, in our administration, we really took careful care through expense management. We found new innovative mortgage models that we'll be able to pilot in the future. We found new revenue models in helping other partner organizations. And most of all, our employees looked for new ways to do things differently that created efficiencies and capacities that helped us drive through a stronger fiscal year in a year of change. And making a difference locally. You know, we've had 90 builds since our inception. Again, we completed 4 builds in Muncie, 2 homes in the Manor Park on Forbes Street, and other multiple projects throughout the year where we expanded our community reach and our impact. Our economic impact continues to grow in the communities that we serve, and our collaboration with other agencies. While other not-for-profits continue to struggle, we were able to add supports to our transportation and distribution, our giving of food and dog food to the food bank, helping shelters with backpacks and bags. We found new ways to make an impact outside of our traditional methods. We continue to employ more than 70 people and keep them whole throughout their payroll. And the 60 families that currently have mortgages with us, with Geared to Income, we found ways to continue to support and over hundreds of families that came in who are transitioning from shelters or social housing that required furniture packages. All in all, we continue to find ways to be relevant, make a stronger impact, and improve our brand within the communities that we serve. You know, this year, when we talk about social impact, we've moved past just the traditional children from homes going into higher education, less likely to use other food banks or social services. This year, we found more of our existing Habitat families continuing to volunteer, not just with Habitat, but with other agencies. The paying it forward continues to grow within our network, and we continue to see some amazing highlights from all the work that is done in all the communities that we serve. Our marketing and communications. As you can see, in a year where gatherings and events came to a full stop, our team had to find new ways to get our message out and to communicate with others. With information rapidly changing, their ability to be nimble and quick in messaging for both health and safety, for store closures, for limited clients coming in was incredible. They found new ways to tell our story and explain what we're doing. We raised awareness through DIY through our lockdowns. We increased our presence at virtual community events across our network. And we were a leader nationally in assisting the Federation with messaging and national campaigns. Throughout this, they were able to improve our digital footprint by over 35% and increase traffic to other traditional sites by over 25%. They did an amazing job in a year of change. And a special thank you to all of our employment training partners. Last year, as we launched our Skills Catalyst program, we continued to have our opportunities within our restores and our builds. And these partners continue to find ways to engage individuals that would help us in all parts of our operation. So a special thank you to all of these training partners for the work that they've done, not just in the past, but going forward in the future. Their co-op placements, their internship programs, and their skills development certainly makes a difference in how we at Habitat operate our business. And to our sponsors, we can never say thank you enough. In a year where dollars became tighter, we saw some of our largest donations to date come through the door. I'd like to pay tribute to a couple, the estate of John Joseph Arnold, who donated a full semi-detached home that a new Habitat family was able to take possession of this year. And then to Northern Commerce with a grant of over $150,000 that will allow us to revamp our website, our commerce sites, and multiple other items to our platform that will be designer-specific resources that will benefit us not just for this year, but for years to come. And to the rest of the sponsors, we've seen an increase in our gift in kind donations. And as you can see from all of these organizations and individuals and foundations, your dedication and pledges to Habitat make a difference. And you allowed us to continue to serve families in a year that was challenging. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Our restores. So we started January by opening our newest and 7th location up at Wonderland Road. And with that, we continue to build on our financial success as we saw sales and donations continue to climb. Last year, we saw over 11,000 individuals donate to our restores, which is a testament to people understanding how we do our business and how that makes such a great environmental impact on all that we do. We expanded our salvage operations. We utilized new networks. We launched a brand new e-commerce platform that allowed us to continue to do curbside and online sales during lockdowns. We saw our volunteer engagement increase, and throughout this team embraced a very strong health and safety culture to keep themselves, our customers, and community partners safe. So a big shout out to our restores who last year endeavored to grow and do more in a significant time of change. And to our restore sponsors, we continue to be able to show new, gently used, both home decor and building supplies. These partners continue to step up to the plate and deliver greater than $15,000 or more in product donations to our Habitat restores. If you're out and you're shopping in their stores, please thank them on our behalf as well. Their donations really do make a difference and help fund our entire operation. So thank you once again to all of our restore sponsors. And we couldn't talk about Habitat if we didn't mention Habitat International. Last year, through the global pandemic, Habitat International had no choice but to shut down its volunteers going to other third world countries to support builds. But instead, our Canadian affiliates across the country, and ours included, continued to put money towards our ties that we would remit to Habitat International to continue to help them build and renew homes during this global crisis. So while we are unable to send the number of volunteers that we normally do, we continue to make a financial impact on those countries, because Habitat is global and we are one Habitat worldwide, and we continue to show our support for all the great work that is being done, not just in Canada, but throughout the world on behalf of Habitat. And so looking ahead to 2021, we'll continue to reinvest in our restores and continue to look for ways to expand some of our operations. The merger with Brant Norfolk affiliate. This is an exciting time for all of us in both affiliates as we look forward to quadrupling our potential in serving families over the next year to 3 years. Both of us come together with good large land banks that we will be able to utilize in creating even more affordable housing solutions throughout our network. The strength that Brant Norfolk and Habitat Heartland have together will allow us to create one strong affiliate to continue to deliver on our message. So we're very excited to be embarking on this together and looking forward to all we can do, not only in 2021, but in the years to come. We'll continue to work on people development and capacity building. Through 2020, we embrace new technology in different ways, and we can see even further enhancements that we can make that will help us continue to be efficient and make the roles easier for our employees. Health and safety will always be part of the culture, and we will continue to do that and bring forward new ideas. We'll continue to build on our culture and diversity within our workplace. As our employee base changes and we mirror the needs of our communities, we need to stay front and center on this issue and continue to work together to find ways to make us a more inclusive place to work. We'll continue to leverage the housing momentum through the National Housing Strategies, through CMHC and Co-Investment Act, as well as municipal changes that will be coming to the Planning Act that will allow us to enhance our affordable builds in the future. We've started a new renovation pilot working with the City of London and the other not-for-profit agencies that currently do subsidized housing. This is started strongly, and we anticipate this area to continue to grow to allow us to make impact, not just in the affordable housing space, but in all areas of the housing spectrum. Our fund development team will continue to focus on building new and creative relationships, finding new partners that embrace the Habitat way to continue to move us forward in the number of builds per year. And as Al McKinnon mentioned earlier in his comments around strategic planning, we will make sure that our strategic planning looks out over the next 3 years with alignment to Habitat Canada, but in ways to continue to be innovative for growth. And new innovative revenue streams that we've continued to look into and review, such as the renovation pilot or skills catalyst training. And most of all, we're looking forward to starting some of our largest builds ever as we move into more high density housing to serve families quicker. As the crisis of housing continues, we need to be more relevant in that space, and to do so, we need to build quicker and faster than we ever have before. And I'm confident that the team we have at Habitat will be able to make this happen and continue to make an impact in years to come. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I like that my board chair clapped.
It's for self-preservation, Brian.
Well, seeing as there's no questions, I will now turn it over to Duncan McIntosh.
Thank you, Brian. It's my privilege to identify the staff milestones this year. And as you can see in the screen in front of you, there's been a considerable number of long-serving Habitat employees this year. At 5 years, we have Scott Russell, who works now in our Pacific store, but was working in Wonderland. Elizabeth Baker, who's been a integral person up in Stratford. Florence Daniels, our manager at Stratford. Dave Watson, who's been involved with our transportation, as has Bruce Ibster. William Ransom and Greg Hughes have also been here for 5 years. Longer serving individuals with us, there's two that are a full decade. Dale, who is our logistics guru who works at our Wonderland location, and Fran Deschamps, who I must say has been an integral member this year as our IT person. She was called on to do more than a few things for the benefit of Habitat as we went from in-person to a virtual existence. Thank you.
Thank you, Duncan. I'll now turn it over to Sharon Brennan.
Well, I get the really great job of thanking our volunteers, and I know that there's quite a few on this call, so please make sure that you thank them as you see them go by. So the Ontario Service Award is given to 6 nominees who have reached 5, 10, 15, or 20 years of service. In 2020, the nominees who received a Trillium Service Pin and a personalized certificate to acknowledge their years of service were John Carter from our Stratford Restore for 5 years, Bill Kupfer at the Listowel Restore for 5 years, Alan Lawton at the London Restore for 20 years, Hans Matthias from London Restore at 15 years, Marlene Newell from the Woodstock Restore for 5 years, Ricardo Zapata at the London Restore for 5 years. And then we had 2 youth awards, Devin Box, who is part of our London administration team at 2 years, and Zach Hunter, also from our London administration team for 2 years. The success of Habitat for Humanity Heartland Ontario relies on the contributions of its wonderful volunteers, and together they make an impact on many lives. So thank you to these volunteers.
Thank you, Sharon.
Oh, I have more.
We're to you for the Golden Hammer Award.
Zach and Devin are on the call, so thanks, guys. The Habitat Golden Hammer recognizes individuals who exemplify our vision. Recipients have demonstrated their belief in our mission by providing ongoing support and assistance, sustaining Habitat for Humanity's growth. I'm pleased to announce that this year's award goes to Zach Hunter and Devin Box to recognize their extraordinary work with Habitat Heartland Ontario. During this year of unprecedented circumstances, we want to recognize all the accomplishments of our many volunteers who've achieved and highlighted the work that we need to do. But these 2 individuals joined our volunteer team in October of 2017. Zach and Devin grew up in London, Ontario, and started volunteering with Habitat to give back to their community. They are amongst our longest standing youth volunteers to date. And over the last 3 years, Zach and Devin have always been eager and willing to help support our organization any way they can. From raising awareness in the community to assisting with social media, videography, and photography to helping us with our special events. They have created 2 volunteer recruitment videos we use at volunteer fairs, on our website, and share as part of our new volunteer onboarding process. And just this morning, I also saw a new health and safety video that they've made for our restores. When we have an idea, we can confidently pass the task over to Zach and Devin to spearhead the initiative, improve the concept, and provide successful results. They approach each challenge with enthusiasm and attention to detail. They also bring a positive presence wherever they go. Here at Habitat Heartland, we are consistently amazed and inspired every day by those who freely give their time, talent, skills, and compassion to make our communities better places to live. Thank you, Zach and Devin, for your support over the years, and congratulations on the Golden Hammer Award.
Perfect. Congratulations, Devin and Zach. Oops.
And Victor and Gail are on this call as well, I believe. This is for the Habitat Canada Award 2020. I'm pleased to recognize the contributions of Victor and Gail Fairthorn, a husband and wife team who have volunteered at our Stratford Resource since 2018. Victor supports the recycling program, helping to divert metal waste from our landfills by ensuring it is responsibly recycled. He also repurposes scrap metal into art for selling in the restores. Gail supports in customer service, and the staff and other volunteers always value her friendliness and helpfulness. Their decision to incorporate Habitat into their family life and contribute their time through the challenges that COVID-19 presented showed again what kind and caring people they are. Thank you to Victor and Gail.
Congratulations, and yes, thank you, Victor and Gail. And now over to Al McKinnon.
Thanks, Brian. I have the distinct privilege of spending a moment just to, I'll say, re-recognize Paul Ferran. For those that attended last year's AGM, you may recall me providing praise for Paul's accomplishments and contribution to Habitat for what is now over 9 years. As this marks Paul's last official meeting as his term expires, I want to once again thank him and assure him that this is not an annual event to thank him. Next year, if he wants to come back, he'll have to do something really spectacular to keep this tradition alive. Paul has left a tremendous legacy and has contributed to the strong foundation on which we can serve significantly more families in new ways. He's been a steady leader, a strong, compassionate voice for our families, and has impacted many people through his time at Habitat. Once again, Paul, thanks for your contributions. We'll miss you around the board table, but we know we'll see you about once a year at the very least. Thanks again, Paul.
Thank you, Al. And yes, thank you, Paul. Now, I get the distinct pleasure of recognizing Jerry Peroni. I know Jerry is on the call. In fact, I think he's using the picture to the right as his go-to picture today. Jerry has made the decision to retire as of June 30th after 23 years of amazing dedication and service to Habitat Heartland. What can I say? Jerry has been an individual who's been here from the start and has helped build the Habitat Restore in Heartland up to now a 9-unit facility and one of the highest producers in Canada. He started off with a small but mighty team and has continued to be there to help grow and nurture the Restore along. But part of the way that he did that is, I think what we all appreciate about Jerry is he's been a mentor, a leader, and really passionate about what he's done. It'd be hard pressed to talk to a Restore leader in Canada who has not had a conversation with Jerry about their operation. He's always very given of his time to others, but very given to the managers and the staff that work at Restore. And not just within the retail side, but you can count on him to be friendly, engaging in our administration. He's always had a strong voice around our leadership team, whether it was around strategic planning, events, development. We could always count on Jerry to be a voice at our table. His institutional knowledge of all Habitat will be greatly missed. And I'm sure even though you're going into retirement, Jerry, I'm still going to have to call you on occasion. We can't let that tradition go by. You know, he's not afraid to have the tough conversations. He's not afraid to bring great ideas to the table. He truly is a gentleman. He is one that will be sadly missed from our ranks. Jerry, you've done so much for Habitat over the years. You've given more than you've certainly received. It's going to be hard to say goodbye, but we certainly wish you well in the next chapter of your life. And we know that you will always be a Habitatter for the days to come. So Jerry Peroni, on behalf of myself, our staff, our volunteers, and our board of directors, thank you so very, very much for all that you've brought and done to Habitat over the last 23 years. You've made an impact in our communities and on the lives of thousands of individuals. You should be very proud of all that you've done and what you've accomplished. You leave a lasting legacy that you should be very proud of. So Jerry, thank you. And now I'll allow you to bring conversation.
You're gonna let me do that, are you?
I may put you on mute though.
You may need a break. You've been talking a lot.
This is on this.
Thanks very much, Brian, and everyone, of course. And this is always a work of passion for me, that from the moment I saw the ad in the London Free Press and met with a couple of the board directors, I was nothing but excited about the opportunity to be the restore manager for the London Habitat for Humanity affiliate. And it was one of those things that we described it quite often through those early years as just riding the rocket. The potential was very evident right from the get-go. And once you got a few things cleared away and got the path straightened out, everything just took off. And I know that I'd love to take all the credit, but there's certainly others that helped out along the way. And I learned from other senior managers, and a couple of those names on that volunteer recognition list were people that were, I can't even begin to describe the support and help they gave me. Tal Lawton, Hans Matthias, Bevan Ling, people like Bob Shaw. Those people were carried us through some very hardworking years, and it certainly was the volunteers that stayed with us, and we're very fortunate to have those that retention that got us to where we are today. Definitely can see by our online and contactless shopping and curbless our shopping, the pickup, the work with our first line donors, where we're getting some just fantastic first line merchandise from all sorts of areas. The nature of the business is changing, and that is going to be, I think, our next biggest adjustment. And I think we're well positioned in Heartland, Ontario, with our stores, the locations of our stores, the shape and size of them right now. There is some incredible growth in front of us over the next couple of years once things open up again, and we'll be right there in the running. And I very much appreciate the support that this board, the previous board with Paul, and certainly Brian as our CEO coming on board, and the depth of retail knowledge that he has, and he's shared with me, and he's shown me, the things that I wish I knew a long time ago, some of them, but the support you guys have brought, you people have brought, the strength of character, the strength of skill sets that you guys that's been brought by our last few boards of directors. It's such a breath of fresh air, and we definitely are well recognized within Habitat Canada as a top affiliate in Canada. So thank you all to all the volunteers and staff that are listening in today, and certainly thank you to all board of directors and present and past that are joined in, and Brian, the fellow staff. Sorry, and not to. We'll have an opportunity to talk more, but and thank you to Brian for his leadership. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jerry. And we'll certainly make sure you have this enough user. And with that, before I turn it over to Al McGinnon, I do want to take a moment to thank our board of directors for 2020 and 2021. It was a year that we're established from risk, from governance, from executive, as we continue to look at COVID and how the pandemic was impacting our business, the things to do going forward. This team of board of directors, people, the and that I will turn it back over to you.
Brian, I think that's the first meeting of these AGMs. So Jerry, I want to note you are truly a bright light in our habitat universe, and you'll leave a hole that will be very difficult to fill. We're going to have around it. So good luck in retirement, and hopefully we'll see you on the research checking out the major we're doing stuff right. Secondly, some really great reports from everybody. We see things in organizations that seem like they're just running all cylinders. So it's like in this pandemic we're going through in throwing great numbers in Restore. We got our job done, and that's universal. Everybody in the organization stepped up well beyond what they've done in the past. We're continuing to win awards. We're continuing to serve more families. We're continuing to increase our book and maintain a strong position. We've got staff that are longstanding staff, and a great coming together with Brand. So we're expanding. So there's really nothing that from what we see, this is kind of like a ray of sunshine, quite frankly. And that's just a great testament to everybody around this virtual table, and certainly by Brian goes to your team for just so many thousand things that everybody did this above and beyond. So foundation earlier in my remark, and to me it's the most important thing that we have right now. There's a dramatically increased need, a dramatically increased opportunity with some things we have ahead of us, and we're really positioned to expand and take care of that. So I'm really excited about that coming year and a couple of years ahead. So with that, I want to thank everybody for their time, their contributions to so many habitat families. Wish everybody a joyful summer. Hope the ability to spend some time with family and friends, and hopefully maskless for that. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yes. Would you like to make a motion to accept the CEO report?
Yeah, let's do that. I think I'm going to just recycle that, but thanks for keeping that online, Jen. Appreciate that. So moving right along. And again, hopefully we get an opportunity to get together for some form of a celebration of post-COVID, some Restore openings, an amalgamation, a great couple of years, whatever it takes. I just want to show off my new haircut. So before we adjourn, I will ask for a motion to accept it was the CEO report that we missed, Jen?
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So if I could ask for that motion.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Jen. It's the least you could do after all that.
Right.
A seconder, just looking for anybody. Blair.
Rick Bertulli.
Not Rick Bertulli. Okay. Any objection? Any questions? Any conversation? All right. Perfect. We'll call that moved. So with that, we got her done at 7:07, which is pretty close to our 7 o'clock timeline. Let's blame Adam on that for for disappearing for a few minutes. Why not?
I will take that blame.
I will ask for a motion to adjourn and allow people off to enjoy the rest of this lovely evening.
I'll do that.
Blair's in.
Blair's in for motion to adjourn.
Second.
Blair, you're always first. And Catherine, you second. Thank you.
Yes.
So meeting adjourned. Thank you again, everybody. We look forward to those that only see us at AGMs. Hopefully we'll see you next year. And thanks again for all of your help.
And if the board members could please stay on.
Except Blair, who apparently wants to leave.
I'm just adjourning.
And if we we should probably stop recording, Brian.